Hey everyone and welcome to Storytime. My name is Jake and today we are going to be looking at the subreddit r/Malicious Compliance. So sit back, relax and enjoy some satisfying stories. You want contact numbers? Fine, you may have them all. Some quick backstory. I am a customer service rep for a very large aged care service. My job is to help people navigate this labyrinth we call a company so that they can hopefully speak with the right person on the first try. My calls can come from clients, their families, external business, and even staff members on the odd occasion. Today's story is a small interaction with an RTO, or a registered training organization. We occasionally get calls from them looking to get placements for their students. The process is quite simple. Normally, they just need to call and speak with the relevant care facility directly. I would normally just ask a quick question or two to find out which facilities they are interested in and provide the relevant numbers. We have somewhere in the realm of 18 different facilities and it's pretty easy, just based on location, to narrow that number down to 2 or 3. My interaction with today's caller went as thus. It is worth mentioning that not once during all of this did my sickeningly positive customer service attitude drop. Good morning, welcome to X. My name is OP, how can I help you today? Hi, I'm from RTO. I need to look at getting placement for my student S. That should be no problem at all. You will just need to call the individual facilities and check availability with them directly. May I ask you some quick questions so that I may narrow down the options for you? No, just give me the numbers. Sir, I do not need much. I just need to know a rough location for the student so I can recommend the facilities nearby. There is silence, about 5 seconds, a century in phone time. Sir, are you still there? Just give me the numbers already. Sir, we have a large number of… I don't care. You're obviously not the person I need to speak to. Just give me the numbers already. I don't break stride. No problem, sir. Do you have a paper and pen handy? Yes, go ahead. I proceed to give him just the names and numbers of each location, in order of most obscure facility location. This can be extra confusing as all the facilities have weird names like Jacaranda or Cinnamon Court. 5 facilities in. Okay then. I keep reading. 10 facilities in. Wait, hold up. I keep reading. 15 facilities in. Are you serious? I keep reading. All 18 facilities read out. And that's the last one. You just need to call each of those individually and check their availability. Is there anything else I can help you with today, sir? The RTO sounding worn out. No, I think that's all. Wonderful. Well, sir, you have a lovely day and thank you for calling X. Goodbye. I hang up. Moral of the story, when calling the customer service line, actually take a moment to listen to the rep. They can normally save you a lot of time. Oh, we can only hope that the one he needed was the last one he called. That would be amazing. Buying groceries with candy. So, not my story, but my grandpa loves telling it. It is a story over 40 years old, full of boasting and over-exaggeration though, so details are sketchy. For context, in the country/city I live in, it's a common tradition to buy candy to avoid small changes. So if I bought something that costs $4.55, I'd buy 45 cents in candy, sometimes even if you don't like it that much. Usually it's not enforced, just highly appreciated. Small candy was sold for 5 cents at the time. My grandpa used to buy from this grocery store daily for years, and one day they started pulling that one on customers to avoid giving out coins. My grandfather didn't like it, but he basically was told, "We're giving you your change in candy. Everyone loves candy, why are you complaining?" Okay, cue malicious compliance. For roughly 2 or 3 months, nothing changed. He still went to the same store, still bought things there, and would still get candy as change. The difference? He kept every single candy that they'd give him. Every day he'd come home, take off his shoes, and put the 5 to 10 lollipops, gumballs, and other treats on a trash sack. Now, he told me every time, so I don't know if he gathered $20 or $50, but for the sake of an exciting climax, I'm gonna say he had roughly $75 worth of candy, which gives us around 1,500 single pieces of candy. Remember, details are sketchy. The next day, he goes back to that same grocery store, carrying 2, maybe 3 completely full trash sacks. Goes around the aisles buying groceries for the entire month, getting weirded out looks all around him, and then goes to the cashier. Are you paying with credit card or cash? Cash. It'll be $74.10, sir. Sure, here's the money. And then he puts the 3 trash sacks full of candy on the counter. Manager is called. Lots of murmurs going around as the line behind him gets bigger. Obviously, he chose the busiest time on the fullest line. We can't accept that, it's not money, the manager tried to say. Well, you were happy to pay me candies as change. Now that I'm also paying in candy, you're going to complain? In the end, he left with arms full of groceries and no candies. Store now had a written policy of not giving candy as change unless asked, and the manager was most likely fired. I stopped indulging in this tradition the day afterwards I first heard the story. Yeah, when I first heard, oh, who doesn't love candy? Just accept it, why are you complaining? I was like, well, I can't pay for things with candy, can I? And the grandpa obviously had the same idea. Laundry malicious compliance. I have a 16-year-old stepdaughter who doesn't seem to be able to do anything for herself. Story another time. This morning she was super late getting out of the door for school, and according to her, it wasn't her fault. She decided to wait until rather late last night to start her laundry. She was too lazy to leave her room to put her clothes over in the dryer, so she texted my daughter, 14, to go move them over. My daughter was in the shower at the time, so she yelled to my son, who's 12, to go put the clothes over in the dryer. So he did. He put the clothes in the dryer. However, since he wasn't asked to, he didn't bother to start the dryer. I am so proud. I raised a smart butt. Yeah, well, if you ask someone else to do something for you, you have to give every single detail, don't you? Hair color policy? Be specific. I work in healthcare in the UK. I won't say who it's for so I don't get into trouble, but it's the free healthcare that everyone gets. I colour my hair various colours and it really helps my mental health and fits in with my identity. I've been doing this within the organisation for the past 12 years, and it's a running joke with my non-douchebag colleagues that they don't know what colour hair I will have on my next shift. My patients love it, and some of them even went to my hairdressers to have theirs coloured the same. My hospital brought in a no unnatural colours policy. This really ticked me off as I have always had this around patients and not one of them has ever complained about my hair. Prior to the policy coming into effect, my manager approached me twice to remind me as a courtesy. At that time, my hair was silvery grey, which is a natural hair colour. However, they didn't specify no unnatural hair colours. Cue me turning up to work with bright pink hair. Manager takes me aside, reminds me of the uniform policy and says she will have to send me home. This gives me the opportunity to point out the flaw in their policy and show her several colours of bright pink flowers native to the UK. I inform her that I haven't breached the policy, and if she sends me home, it will be on full pay and I will involve my union. The end result was me working the rest of the shift, and the rest of the 2 months with bright pink hair while the management were correcting the policy. I've toned it down to a pastel pink as my kids said I was embarrassing, but it's still a win for me. I'm now working in a different department which doesn't care about my hair color. I've never understood no unnatural hair color policies, like, does the color of your hair have any bearing on the ability to do the job? No. How a cow caused a post-World War II British Navy vessel to maliciously comply. We'll start this by pointing out this was my now late grandfather's story, and furthermore was only told to me after he died some 18 years ago by my father. My grandfather's whole working life was dedicated to engineering. Until retirement, he worked as an engineer at the Doncaster Plant Works, building/maintaining trains, working on steam and then later diesel and electric trains, and was the type of person who picked up many tricks over the years that the newer workers didn't know, so was often called in to help with tricky jobs well after retirement. But before he got the job at the plant works, he was a sailor in the British Navy, serving as an engineer on ships, and was on active service in the back end of the Second World War. As the war came to an end, his boat was ordered to head to Bombay, now known as Mumbai in India, for what I'm not sure as my dad didn't know, but they were to stay in Bombay for a week and then move on to the next destination. When the orders were given for them to head to Bombay, the crew were reminded that they must keep strict observance of all local customs while there. Not a problem. They would mostly be busy with working on the ship anyway, and had plenty of things on board to entertain them during downtime. They were also told that they had to stick to the timetable for departure as they had to be in the next port for a specific date. Again, not sure why because dad didn't know, but the time frame issue is important. As the week in Bombay was approaching its end, they began to prepare for departure. But the evening before they were due to set sail, a cow of all animals wandered up the walkway onto the deck of the boat. Now, in India, as it's pretty much common knowledge, the cow is seen as a sacred creature, and as a result, the crew couldn't just shift it. The locals wouldn't move it, and nobody made claim to own the thing, so the crew were stuck in regards to what the heck they should do. They could just remove the thing, drag it back down the gangplank to the dock and send it off on its merry way, and with their schedule demanding they leave the following morning, they needed it gone before they were due to sail. Unfortunately, they were all given orders before arriving in Bombay from command to make sure they strictly observed all local customs, so had to wait until the dang cow removed itself from the boat. They were 2 days late leaving the port because the cow wouldn't move, and only decided to do so when it was bored/hungry/ whatever reason a cow has for doing anything. When they finally arrived at the next destination, the captain of my grandfather's boat had to explain why the heck they were 2 days late. My grandfather was told afterwards that the captain simply told them they were told to respect local customs and as such couldn't touch the cow. They would rather be late to their next destination than disobey a direct order, even if command was severely angry with the late arrival. Not the most amazing of stories, I know, but whenever I see a cow in a field now, I think of this story. It's my favorite story about my dearly departed grandfather, and it gives me a chuckle every time I tell it. So I figured I would share the story of how a cow forced the entire crew of a Royal Navy vessel to maliciously comply with a direct order. Hope you get a kick out of this too. I guess you could say that was utter nonsense. Haha. Guy convinces insurance not to cover a procedure. This happened several years ago. I was working as a customer service rep for a health insurance company at the time. A guy called in about an elective weight loss surgery he had already gotten. Looking through his call history, I could see that he had called in before having the surgery, was told that since it was an elective, it wasn't going to be covered, but he had looked out. The way the hospital had filed his claim insurance had paid for $12,000 out of the $15,000 or so surgery. He wanted us to cover the last $3,000 and thought since we had paid the $12,000, that meant the $3,000 should be paid as well. I tried to explain to him how lucky he had gotten, that it wasn't something we normally covered at all, etc. At which point he exploded at me. "Listen here, you little brat, send my claim back to be reviewed right now, or I'll call the CEO of your company and have them fire your butt for refusing to help a customer." I immediately said, "Yes sir, I'll send your claim back to be reviewed right away." Forwarded his claim back to the review department with an explanation of what the surgery was for. He called back a few weeks later yelling about how we had reversed the payment on the $12,000, but I just had my manager handle the call since I didn't want to deal with him. "Oh, I don't want to pay $3,000 because I'd rather pay $15,000. I'm gonna get really mad even though he's just told me I'm really lucky." Hey everyone, I hope you all had a really good day and that you enjoyed that video. If you want to check out some other videos, then click on screen right now or check out the playlist down below. If you enjoyed that video, then please do leave a like. And if you want to submit your own stories, then you can do so by joining the Discord in the top link in the description. But thank you so much for watching and I will see you very soon.